Welcome to the city of North Miami and welcome to the second council meeting for the year 2019. Let the record show that it is 7:07. The meeting is called to order. City clerk, roll call please.
Mayor Joseph, Vice Mayor Bieneme,
Here.
Councilwoman Keys,
Here.
Councilman Galvin,
Here.
Councilman Zume.
Here.
Vice Mayor, we have a quorum to proceed.
Please let's stand for our pledge of allegiance by Rocio Torres and invocation by Commander Angelo Branson.
Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'd all please remain standing for the invocation. Let's bow. Father God in heaven, we all stand in your presence at this time, giving thanks for all blessings, great and small. We invoke your presence throughout these proceedings as we go about the city's business. We hope and pray that all things said and done here will go for the upbuilding and the improvement for the lives of all of our residents, our guests, and our employees, Heavenly Father. Once again, thank you for all blessings. Let us all say, Amen.
Mr. Manager, is there any addition, deletion, or modification to the agenda?
Very quickly, we will not be having any special presentations tonight. Other than that,
Okay.
the agenda's set.
Okay, 5, and then 5, no special presentation. Mr. City Attorney, are we set?
Yes, sir, the agenda's set. You may
Tonight.
proceed.
Mr. Clerk?
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Keys to approve the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passed with a 4-0 vote. Tab F, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to issue purchase orders to Enterprise Leasing Company of Florida LLC for an aggregate amount.
Wait.
Tab E.
E.
I have it as F here.
Michael.
All right, so we're gonna call that tab E.
Yes. But I didn't.
You got the wrong agenda, probably.
All right, so
Probably got the wrong one, too.
tab E,
The resolution?
a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an amendment to the franchise agreement for solid waste and recycling collection services between the city of North Miami and Waste Pro of Florida, Inc., to provide for an extension to the term, providing for an effective date and for all of the purposes. And that's tab E that I have here.
Good evening.
Are we set? Are we okay? No, any issue? Do we have a presentation for tonight?
Purchasing director just has a few comments he wants to put on the record. with regards
Okay,
to this
okay.
item.
All right, good evening, Mr. Vice Mayor, council members, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director. The item that you have before you under tab E is simply staff's request for your authority to enter into an extension of the current sanitation services franchise agreement with Waste Pro of Florida Incorporated beyond the current expiration date, which is January 31st, 2019. As reflected in the council report that was submitted in support of this item, the original contract was awarded to Waste Pro on February 14th, 2012. Thereafter, on September 26th of 2017, this council approved a resolution authorizing an amendment between the city and Waste Pro, which effectively extended the residential services of the agreement through January 31st and the commercial services through October 31st of 2020. In order to ensure the continuity of services for our community, staff is recommending the extension of the residential portion of the agreement through October 31st, 2020, to end the agreement on the same date as the commercial services. That is essentially the request submitted by staff, and it concludes my presentation of the item. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to take them.
Do you have anything to add?
I mean, not really, other than I can put on the record the pricing is the same as our existing terms. This is again just so that we can extend it. We will be issuing the RFP as directed previously by the council, so that we'll be able to move forward.
That means if I really understand, we had the IFP and it will be canceled, and now you're gonna extend the residential to be at the same date as the commercial, and now you're gonna issue a new RFP for both.
Correct.
Do you have any question, any comments on the dais? We can do that if we
I
have any
just-
comments
So the
on the dais.
I have one question.
Yes.
So the commercial is now going to expire at the same time as this extension?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I'll wait too, I'll wait.
Okay. Public hearing is open on the item. Tab E.
Jim Garrett, 11610 North Bay Shore Drive. We know what the rate is in the subsidy in this budget year, which is fiscal year 19. Do we know what's going to be our garbage rate in fiscal year 21, which will start October 1st, 2020, which is after the May 14, 2019 city election? What is going to be the residential rate?
Can you repeat your question, please?
What is going to be, what is going to, we know what the residential rate for this budget year, Vice Mayor Bename,
For 19 and 20.
for this year. What's
For
going to
19
be,
and 20.
what is going to be the residential rate for the residents of this city on October 1st, 2019 through October 31st, 2020? The next budget year. What is going to be the residential rate starting October 1st, 2019
What do you mean October?
through fiscal year 21?
We have a budget that expired on the 30th of September, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We don't have
No.
a new budget yet.
I think what his simple question is, if you allow me, is
Yes, Mr.
what will
Mr.
be
Manager.
the residential rate in the next fiscal year? And the simple answer to the question is that is to be determined by the
By the
council at that.
RFP.
Well, he's saying the residential rate,
No,
not
but-
not what they're charging us, what we are assessing the citizens. That'll be something that you'll determine during
I
the
don't know.
next budget year.
Explain. No, repeat it again.
He's the
At
question.
the request of the residents, right? We put the RFP. We had only one response, right?
No, that's not the question he's asking. He's asking right now, the residential rate is
250.
256. He's asking what will it be next fiscal year? That is to be, and the answer is that'll be determined by the council.
By the council.
Next fiscal year.
Which is what we've been doing for the past 5, 6, 7 years, forever. Right?
Forever, yes.
Okay.
Because you would make recommendations as the administration to us. And then
At that time,
The
when we
same
get
way we
ready,
do
yes.
the budget, at the budget
At the budget.
presentation. That's when we're gonna know, which is what we'll be doing every fiscal year. When you get to approve the budget, staff make recommendation and council approve or reject. The same thing.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, for summing that up. I'm just saying, because nothing is written in stone.
What he said that's written in stone. The what? No, Jim, what he say?
Nothing is written in stone.
Oh, no. Nothing is written.
The rate, anything can come up. We can have a hurricane, we can have a natural disaster, we can have anything that can come up, and nothing is written in stone.
But we understand
And
that.
I've lived in other cities in this nation, like Oak Park, and they jumped up all the rates on parking because we had a bad snowstorm, and there were potholes all over the village, and if they jumped up our rates on the parking sticker. We had to buy a parking sticker every year for $40, and the parking sticker went from $40 to $75 in one fiscal year.
Yeah, but we
And budget
understand
here.
that, Jim.
It could happen the same thing here, Vice Mayor. Something could come up, a hurricane, a budget shortfall,
We do-
I mean, the county could raise rates. The county could raise rates on you on the dump, on the dump out there on 56th
But they've been
Street.
doing that. And
They've
we
been doing
keep
it every
doing the
year.
same.
I know.
For the past
but,
7
but
years.
they could do it, and you either increase the subsidy, or you increase the rates, or you do
That's
a
what we've been
combination.
doing. It's usual. There's nothing new. That's what we've been doing.
You've been doing it for 7 years, but it seems, I'm just putting the question out there, what's going to be next year, because I tell you this, we've had enough of May surprises in this city.
But at the same time, we may have a lot of money coming in where we still gonna do that again. Thank you. Next. No one comes on the yeah. Public hearing is now closed on the dais.
Mr. Mayor, sorry, I don't want to listen to myself either. Comment, gee. Back to the question of when the commercial accounts phase out. If somebody has an existing contract with Waste Pro, if a commercial business has an existing contract with Waste Pro that runs till 2021, that remains in effect regardless?
No.
Okay, explain
When we
to me.
did the extension with our exclusive commercial hauler, they would have known that all of those agreements would have to end at the end of the legal period.
October 31st, 2020.
At the end of their, whoever the new, theoretical company is would enter, they would have, before that time gets here, would have to go and enter into contracts with all those existing
Are we doing it,
commercial,
or
if you choose one
Right.
exclusive.
we should make sure we communicate that to our businesses?
Absolutely.
Because Waste Pro may or may not do it on its own effectively.
That's not a problem. We can definitely.
And the other thing, I presume that before the end of this year, you're gonna put the new RFP
Oh,
for
absolutely.
both commercial and residential
Yes.
out there.
Yes.
Okay.
If I may, Mr. Vice Mayor, just so the public know exactly what we're voting on tonight, that's exactly what the public asks, where we're trying to consolidate the commercial and the business together so that we could put out an RFP, because we realized the last time this issue came forward, we couldn't put out one because there's no nobody that provide this service that would apply to the RFP because of the way it is set up. So this is a bind that we are fixing tonight. So we don't want no misinformation on social media or out there saying that we have to vote in order for us to get it unified so that we could have one RFP that's intact with the business and the residential together. So moving forward, thank you.
That's been at the end of next year. Both commercial and residential will be up for a new contract. Are we clear? Can I hear a motion on the item, please?
move.
Second.
Have a motion made by Councilman Azume to approve tab E. That motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Item passes with a 3-1 vote. Tab F, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, appointing members to the Downtown Action Plan Advisory Committee in accordance with Chapter 29, Article 2, Division 4 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tanya Wilson with the Community Planning and Development Department. The request before you is for appointment to the Downtown Action Plan Advisory Committee. As the Mayor and Council knows, the DAPAC was created to be the ambassadors and also to serve as assistants in implementing the downtown plan, the vision of downtown plan. Currently, the board has 13 positions filled. There are 2 vacancies. There are 2 applications that were filed for board membership. I'm going to read those names into the record. The first one is Solomon Bendayan.
Can I have a copy of the application?
Solomon Bendayan,
Where's the
he is owner
application?
of Virtue Realty, and that's a downtown business owner. We also have Mr. Gio Darden with Copper Bridge Foundation that's requesting for approval tonight to be able to serve on the Downtown Action Plan Advisory Committee. These are the 2 names that are being proposed before City Council. With those 2 appointments, we'll have full occupancy on the DAPAC, the 15-member board.
The application. How long those 2 business owners been in the downtown?
Mr. Bendayan is a new business owner that's with Virtue Realty. Copper Bridge has been there for about a year in terms of ownership.
For both?
They're both fairly new. I would say on average about a year.
And Mr. Mayor, through you to Tanya.
Huh?
Through you
Go
to
ahead.
Tanya.
Yeah.
this does not affect any of the other sitting members. This is just appointing 2 more members.
Correct. So
Okay.
they would occupy 2 vacancies.
Okay. Public hearing is open on tab F. Public hearing on tab F.
Move to approve.
Tab F is a resolution. We don't need, oh, you're talking about for,
So I have a motion made by Councilwoman Keys to approve tab F. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passed with a 4-0 vote. Tab G.
Wait, Mr. I have a question regarding the last tab. Why, Mr. Joy, that particular committee that we brought?
Why you
in?
open the
microphone.
mic?
I'm sorry. The question was why that particular committee that we brought it the way we did through resolution by you versus how the clerk just called out the name. Is it something because of the structure of the board or
I think her way is really the way it should work. The way it
for
should
all of
work-
them?
Yeah, that's my opinion, because the ordinance, I'll let the city attorney answer. But my advice, I think that's the right way to do it.
We had a discussion a while back
Mm-hmm.
about boards and how they get appointed, and the recommendation was that we do them by resolution, because that way there's no question about who's getting on the board. There's a record of it, if anyone ever wants to look.
Okay.
Since we had that discussion, there's been some that have been brought the old way, but this time we caught it and we're doing it by resolution. But
So-
this should be the way that we're bringing board members forward to you.
So, Mr. Attorney,
Amen,
moving
brother.
forward, if working with the clerk, can we be uniform about it? Because I didn't know if that was a special, board, like the Charter Review Board or Board of Adjustment. So all of them should be
The
like that.
recommendation is anyone on a board.
On a board,
just-
period.
We get an
Okay.
internal work order, we do a resolution,
Got
and
it.
you're voting in it by resolution.
And the
then there's a
liaison, the board liaison is usually the one to do what Tanya just did.
Got it, okay. Well, we'll be doing this a lot.
okay, and, yes,
Tab-
sit-
Tab G, Mayor, Vice Mayor.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Tab G, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council approving a development agreement in substantially the attached form, yeah, they did, between the city of North Miami and Causeway Village LLC in accordance with the provisions of Article 3, Division 2 and 13 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Land Development Regulations, LDRS, for a proposed mixed-use development featuring 297 dwelling units at a proposed density of approximately 72 dwelling units per acre, 15,481 square feet of commercial space at a proposed intensity of approximately .09 with a maximum building height of 99.6 on a property located at 1850 Northeast 123rd Street and legally described with Miami-Dade County folio number 06222800100270. Further authorizing the city manager to take all actions necessary to finalize and execute the development agreement. The approved development agreement shall be located at the City of North Miami City Clerk's 776 Northeast 125th Street, North Miami, Florida 33161, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. I think it goes without
You
saying.
done? Do we have a presentation? Do we have a,
Thank you for
What?
the record,
Excuse-
Tanya Wilson again.
What?
This is a request
How is-
for approval of a development agreement for the property, subject property located at 1850 Northeast 123rd Street. The mayor and council will recall that this item was first heard as a future land use map amendment request, which was adopted by this board back in September of 2018. Again, a subsequent request was made for the zoning map amendment, which was approved on adoption back on January 8th. Based on the terms of the code, in terms of an approval for a planned corridor overlay district, all developments within that overlay district must adopt a development agreement which outlines the terms of the development, and any future recommendations that the city has made would be incorporated in that agreement. In terms of the development agreement, you'll notice in the document that a request is made for allocation of 297 dwelling units, 15,481 square feet retail, office, and restaurant space. In terms of the maximum height, it's not to exceed 99 feet. And in terms of the terms of the agreement itself would be no more than 30 years. The next step also in terms of the code requirement is that a site plan be approved. So the next item, the companion item that you'll hear on this, after this item is approved, will be the site plan approval. I know the agent for the applicant is here and wishes to speak on this item also at this time.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the City Commission, Manager, Mr. Attorney, Mr. Deputy Manager, staff. I'm Joseph Geller, Greenspoon Martyr. We have a very brief presentation, but we'd certainly be happy to answer any questions. If you have specific questions about the development agreement, I'll probably defer on those to my colleague Carla Jones, who's present as well, since she worked directly with the City Attorney Cuzzo in the drafting of it. But basically, as I think everyone's aware, you know the project, you've seen it. The next item up will be the site plan approval, but the development agreement has been negotiated. The city asked for a number of things, all of which we have agreed to, and those are in front of you. Among them, $27,000 in pedestrian and sidewalk improvements, $100,000 spread over 4 years for traffic improvements, a commitment to work with FDOT as they move forward. Linkages not only for pedestrians, but as the chair of your planning commission repeatedly emphasized to us, bicycle improvements so that people who live in this project would have access with their bicycles directly to mass transit. There is a restrictive covenant that binds us to the particular terms that were agreed to, absent, again, a super majority of this council, which, as we know, is pretty tough to achieve. Among those, the height, which could be 110, is limited to under 100 feet, and the density, which could be 125 per acre, is limited to less than 60% of that possible maximum density. And again, this is by negotiation. We've agreed to all those things. We're comfortable with it. This is a very special development. It's something that the city doesn't have today, luxury rentals. And as we've heard at the many community meetings that we've had on this issue, there's a market for that, particularly some of the younger people moving into the city, some of the so-called millennials who have some disposable income. They're not interested at this point in committing to ownership, but they want to be a step up. They'd like to live in more comfortable surroundings. As you'll see when we turn to the site plan, it's a beautiful project. As I said, if you have specific questions, I'll probably defer on those to Ms. Carla Jones, of law offices of Carla Jones. But other than that, that's our presentation. We're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Let's now open public hearing on the item.
If anyone
I
wishes
see.
to be heard on this item, Vice Mayor, they'll have to be sworn in. Would you like me to swear
Even
them
though
in now?
they're on the postcard.
Okay.
Jim
Jim
Gary?
Yep.
Are you a lobbyist?
Yes, I am a lobbyist. You want
Okay.
to know who? Trojan
no,
Labor.
No, I just,
No,
the card say that, that's all.
just Trojan Labor.
Just to put it on the record, anyone who wishes to speak, please sign one of the speaker cards. The speaker card indicates that you're swearing to be telling the truth. That's why we're not swearing anyone in, but you do have to sign one of the cards.
Yes, okay. Jim
Ji-
Gary, yes.
11610 North Bayshore Drive. I'm just a lobbyist, not associated with this project. For another-
Apartment 1A.
What?
Apartment 1A.
Well, but 1A, yeah, my apartment. Mrs. Talbot, I know you, how many years has it been? 6 years? It's been a long process, right? I
Sir,
know,
you should be
to
directing.
this.
Sir.
I mean, another happy
Mr.
anniversary.
Chair.
I am,
You
I
should
have
direct
changed
the
my
board.
Okay, I have,
Talk to us.
okay, I have changed my opinion on this project. I'm in for it because I hope this will spur redevelopment over in that pocket. Carol, you know what I'm talking about, the pocket between San Souci Boulevard and 123rd Street. We have some properties there, them townhouses along San Souci Boulevard on the north side. Some of them are nice, some of them not well maintained. We have some apartments out back there that needs to be either rehabilitated by Prestige or by someone else. We need to pick up our game if we want to really compete with NMB and other cities in the Northeast State quadrant. So I'm in favor of this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Greenspoon, Joe Geller, Javier. No, okay. Now it's Javier Alfont
I swear.
first. No, I don't have the card yet. Who's Javier?
I gave a card.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Carla Jones, no? Okay. Laura Talbot, Jim Garrett, and now give me that one. Thank you.
Let me ask you a question.
William Privatel.
Let me ask a question. When does that process stop of them signing up? Could they just come in the middle or at any time?
I think.
Because we need to set that up too.
That's really up to you
Okay.
or
No, I'm
the
just
chair.
saying
but
that it's okay tonight, but
No,
imagine
as
if you
long
have
as
something.
public hearing is still open on the
Oh,
item,
they still could do
then
that?
they still
Okay.
can do that.
All right.
Sign the card. Yes. William Privatel.
Good evening, everyone. William Prevatel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I'll try to be brief. As we've earlier said on numerous occasions, this project has many aspects going for it. It's pleasingly designed. It's appropriate with its use for the residential neighborhood we have there behind the commercial activities. It's mixed use, which we should have more mixed use projects. They're self-sustaining, and they result in having maybe a little bit less traffic because people who live at that location can then go downstairs and take advantage of certain functions down below. But there are many good aspects to this. What I'd like to address particularly today is that for this and for other projects is that we are predictably going into a recession. I can't say if it's tomorrow, next week, a year from now, year and a half from now, but it seems like economists are in consensus that there will be a recession. Statistically, we are in the 10th year of a cycle that is typically 7 years, going into this 11th year. Our city needs to prepare itself for the upcoming recession, for harder times to come. If these are the winning times, we need to really get things in order now while we can before things get rough. This may provide jobs. It'll provide not just jobs during construction, but as it completes, there'll be other people working there. It'll provide housing. It'll provide additional income for our city. I think we need to be prepared on this and any other way we can, and to particularly to help those who are most vulnerable in our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see Janine. I don't know the last name.
So I'm Megan Morin, company Think
What's
Global.
your? Oh, Megan. Right.
Megan,
Okay.
yes.
Go ahead.
So I think this is absolutely amazing.
Can you state your address on record, please?
Yes, 2546 First Avenue South, St. Petersburg, Florida. I am relocating to North Miami and bringing my company here as well. I'm a co-founder of a startup company. And I think that this is an amazing development. As a native of St. Petersburg, Florida, seeing the growth and actually being a part of the growth and helping my community thrive, I think this is an absolutely needed asset to North Miami to bring millennials, young people here that have the disposable income to work, live, and play, to enjoy a lifestyle here in North Miami, and to add beautification to the city.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Janine? No. No, okay. No one's. No more. Public hearing is now closed.
I have a question.
The dice, yes.
Through the mayor, Mr. Geller, at the first hearing, you spoke about and put in an application for the wall across the street at the LA Fitness building. I know we can't really put that as part of our agreement this evening. It's a different property, I get it. But I would like to have you reiterate that we are still moving along with fixing the wall.
I think they put a
Still want that
permit.
commitment.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I might, Councilwoman, I'd like to see if the chairman would permit the owner of the project to respond directly.
That's
One
fine,
of
that's
the
fine.
co-owner, I guess both of
Yes.
you.
Hi, good evening. So the permit has been in the building department for about 8 weeks, and we've been in contact with them weekly. And they've requested some re-engineering. And so we've paid in full for the fence. I have copies of the canceled check. That was paid about 3 or 4 months ago, as soon as we promised we would do it. And we're just waiting for our permit.
You said you've been waiting for 8 weeks?
Well, part of it was Christmas though, and there were things that needed to be revised. So it's not your building department's fault.
Oh, okay.
It's just part of the process, and they're working diligently, and as soon as we ask for the status, they come back, and they've been great. There needed to be some revisions at the fence company. No complaints here. But it's in process, and we hope they came back yesterday with one more, today, I'm sorry, with one more revision that needs clarification in the engineering, and then it should be good to go.
Okay,
That's
thank
when
you.
the wall gonna be built. Right?
No, don't say build the wall. Don't say build
It's
the wall.
not a wall?
It's a
What?
barrier, not a wall.
It's what? What are you talking about? Huh?
It's a
We won't
barrier.
shut down the government, though. We'll leave
I don't
that
know
to
what.
others.
It's a high thing. That's it.
Oh.
Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Slats.
Any
There
question
you
on the
go.
dais?
Slats.
No, we good.
Any other question? Can I hear a motion on the item, please?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Dezume to approve tab G. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passed with a 4-0 vote. Tab H, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the site plan for a proposed 9-story mixed-use development with 297 residential dwelling units and 15,480 square feet of retail restaurant used on a parcel of real property approximately 4.13 acres in size, located at 1850 Northeast 123rd Street, excuse me, and specifically identified with Miami-Dade County Folio number 06-2228-001-0270 in accordance with Article 2, Division 7, Section 2-701 and Article 3, Division 2, Section 3-204 through Section 3-206 and Article 3, Division 3, Section 3-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. That was tab H.
Thank you
Yes.
again. For the record, Tanya Wilson with Community Planning and Development Department. As the council is aware, all requests for site plan approval are now required to be before City Council for approval. That's under Section 2-701 of the code. And this companion item then would be an exhibit to the development agreement that was just approved. So as approved, that would be a maximum of 297 luxury apartments, over 15,000 square feet, retail, office, and restaurant use, as mentioned before. Something that I didn't mention before, but I think is of great importance, is that this development will be LEED certified. I think it's a great standard for a city that has green certification to have all new developments be LEED certified. So I want to mention that as a signature piece for this proposed development. This item was reviewed by your Development Review Committee in the way of traffic review, landscaping, and everything that's related to economic development. The DRC did recommend approval of the site plan, and staff is recommending that before you for approval at this time. If approved tonight, the site plan will be good for 18 months, and the applicant will be required to pursue building permits before that expiration of the site plan, if approved tonight. If the council has any questions, staff is available to answer.
Is there any question on the dais?
Yeah, I have,
Yes.
just with regard to traffic, I don't see Mr. O'Brien, but there were recommendations about ingress and egress on the property, like going out rights only, not making lefts in there. Is that part of this, this approval tonight? And do we have any, the pictures really don't show right-onlys, so I'd like some clarification
So
for that.
the language that's been proffered by the applicant is that there would be a crash analysis associated with this approval. So applicant will be required to submit a crash analysis for review. If in fact the crash analysis reveals that there is any turning or traffic issues, then the applicant will be obligated to put in traffic calming devices or any kind of signage that you referred to in terms of no right turn or no left turn. There's also a condition that they're required to coordinate with FDOT to determine if a light could be installed on 123rd Street. So that's actually written into the language of the development agreement.
because, I mean, there really should not be lefts going out onto 123rd unless, I see
There's
that
no
they've
left.
opened up behind there, that little space behind the old Sun King building, so they can come out on 19th. Ideally, you'll get a traffic, is that where you're looking to get the traffic light? That would be ideal, but I'd really rather not see people coming in over, because that traffic does stop on a regular basis from from Biscayne all the way past the light. So people coming and trying to make a left out of the project, it's like there's nowhere to go, and it will just be a real hazard, so.
Yeah, so that concern was noted, Councilman, and the analysis that would be required in order to impose that recommendation would be the crash analysis. So the
So
applicant
what
has
if
agreed.
there's no crashes, then they'll say, oh, no crashes, so we don't have to abide by it.
There's still language in the agreement that they would have to work with FDOT to make sure, to determine if a light would be permissible by FDOT at that
But
location. So
It has
there
nothing,
a few
for me, it has
alternatives.
nothing to do with the light. And we do a crash analysis, and since there's really not a whole lot of traffic there, maybe there's no crashes.
Accident.
So we got no, light or not, no crashes. Oh, well, we can make lefts out of there. So I want to know what my thought, Mr. O'Brien would be here.
What do you mean make left from in the back or from one
No,
on
if you come out,
123rd?
if you come out onto 123rd across from the LA, yeah, you want to go west out of the project. It should not be able to do that, or at least during hours, because there's a solid line of traffic
Yeah.
backed up. So they're saying, well, we're going to do a crash analysis. Well, if no cars are really coming out there, the crash analysis is going to say, no problem. Whether you get a light or not, it's still better you coming out of a street as opposed to coming out of the building or that street right behind Walgreens.
That means it would be more than a traffic study than just crash analysis.
So the remaining alternative then would just be signage that says no left turn. So
Yeah,
you
I would
either
like-
analyze and then you implement, but if you're saying the analysis, if it comes back saying something different, then your
No, what
final
we are
result
saying
would
is
be
not
the
just
signage.
a crash analysis. We need a traffic study that analyzes
have
cars coming
Yeah,
in
they've
and
already
out
done
to
a
see.
traffic
They've done
study,
that.
Councilman, and
Do
they've
we have
passed
that?
it in terms of the trips, so they don't have any issues regarding the traffic trips. I think her issue is circulation and the turning
Okay.
of
My
vehicles
issue
with
is
the
make,
left turn.
I mean, I know coming left into the oncoming traffic is not great, but really making a left out of that project is a problem and dangerous.
So if the applicant is amenable to that, that's a condition
Is
that you
that a
could add tonight.
issue that you
with
just-
with signage that says no left turn, in
Okay.
addition to a
Okay,
crash
well,
analysis.
she's not.
Yeah,
Are we done?
Yeah, that's my only issue is, I mean, traffic is a nightmare there, and it's going to be a bigger nightmare. I don't care if they make lefts, I mean, my opinion is if they're gonna make a left out of 19th Avenue with or without, a light, that's fine, but coming out of the project and coming out of that street by Walgreens, there's just no way, people are just gonna be sitting in the middle of the street.
So it's a signage issue, so I'll let the applicant respond.
And I have a question
you
for
want-
you.
Do you want to respond to that or?
Well, yes.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Here's my understanding, and I'm happy to be corrected. A full traffic study was done. It was submitted to the city. The city had its professional review the traffic study. The crash analysis is not what's being done. The crash analysis is something additional on top of the full traffic study that was done.
Correct.
The city's traffic engineer has reviewed it and made some recommendations. We've complied with all the recommendations that the city's traffic engineer has made in response to our traffic study. We are trying to get a light. If the light gets done, that will have some influence on what happens. Turning out of 19th Avenue, I believe
That's
it
fine,
is,
that's fine.
is not a problem either. Ultimately, if there is an issue based on not what we think might happen, but what the professionals have said, we need to address that because that'll be part of FDOT's recommendation, and we are bound to go along with whatever it is FDOT has said, as well as this is not a process that's over because, you know, the crash analysis shows a lot of things. It doesn't just show, as I understand it, crashes. It analyzes the traffic flow. Ultimately, if there's an issue, you know, I mean, I'm standing here, I'm looking at you, but in the corner of my eyes, I'm seeing a motorcycle officer who probably knows more about this than all of us standing here together. Although he's not here to
So-
necessarily
so
help
your
with
tra-
that, but
Your traffic analysis said it's a failing intersection. We already know it's a failing intersection.
yeah,
It's an
but
F.
they didn't say that this, as I understand it, look, I'm not a traffic engineer either, Councilwoman, but Commissioner, but Councilwoman, whatever it is. But my understanding is that because of the FDOT component, because of the further review of what the crash analysis shows, and that the term is a little misleading as I understand it. It's a further study, even though we have something right in your package from your traffic engineer who we paid. So anybody in the audience is not confused that that's a cost that's being passed on to the city. We paid not just for ours, we paid for your review.
Yeah.
If there's a problem and they say, yes, this is an actual problem, between proceedings from the crash analysis and proceedings from FDOT, if there's a problem, we need to remedy it. But as someone, maybe it was the vice mayor suggested, maybe it's something that's a problem during evening rush hour only. Maybe it's a problem that's there at morning and evening rush hour, but at 2:30 in the afternoon, it's not a problem. Or at 8 o'clock at night, it's not a problem. So if there is an issue, we are bound because of several provisions to address the issue, and we're happy to do that. But we don't necessarily think that we should be standing here overruling all the traffic professionals who've looked at this, because they're not completely done. There's a couple of steps that still have to happen, analysis of the crash analysis, and ultimately, because it is a state road, FDOT really is the one that has the final word. And we really, if they say, no, this is a bad idea, none of us really can overrule FDOT. But whatever they say, if they agree with you, we got to do it.
Are you done? You have a question?
No, I don't.
Scott? Can I have your motion on tab?
No, what
Tab
question,
H?
is it open? Do we open it? or-
You haven't opened it to the
Yeah,
public.
Let me, wait.
Go ahead, go
Go
ahead.
ahead and open.
No, you can go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead, ask the
so, Ms. Wilson, through the Vice Mayor, so we comfortable with the traffic study, and that if, again, I'm a little concerned about crash history, because there's really not a whole lot of traffic coming out of that street. There's very few people coming out of there. So it's gonna show no crashes.
So ultimately, Councilman, we can't really go based on hypothetical. I know Mr. O'Brien mentioned he had concerns about traffic accidents or the safety issue with the left turn. It's hypothetical. I mean, all the engineers could really rely on is empirical data. And the engineers have recommended to the applicant to provide that crash analysis. Once the crash analysis is before us, we can determine what remedies are needed at that point.
So one last
Short
question.
of that, it's just guessing.
One last question. So we're not, it's really not up to you to regulate traffic coming in and out of 18th and 19th Avenues. Is there gonna be people coming out of the project, the retail down below?
Well,
Is
they
there a
have
I
to
can't
leave
tell
if they go in. Yes, they do have to leave at some
Are they gonna
point,
be
but.
exiting on 123rd Street? Or are they gonna
Well,
be
some of them, I'm sure some of them will find their way back if they're
can't
gonna head
really-
south and look to go to San Souci. Some of them are gonna go, in a different direction. Some of them will be heading east, but keep in mind, there is internal access to where there's a side street. So they don't necessarily need to go through the middle either. And if there's actually a backup, my guess is that anybody who looks at that is going to say, I'm going to go around that. I'm not going to get in that queue and stand still if I want to make a left turn.
I can't tell from the pictures. I see on the west side, there's a little exit, and that would be 18th Avenue. So that's fine. In the middle of the project, or maybe to the west side, just west of the Sun King Apartments, there's an I guess there's an entrance, because it's all cut out. The entrances are cut out from the pictures. I cannot tell. Can we make that a right only from there? Is that?
If again, when you're talking, the big issue is this. When you're talking 123rd Street, it's a state road. So the answer is, can we do that? That kind of depends on FDOT. If they say no, that's going to further degrade traffic flow, then that's kind of what they do. So if they agree with you, then yes. But if they say, no, that's really not as good an idea as it seems, then we can't really tell FDOT what's going to be done on a state road because it's theirs. So I mean, they may well agree with you, or they may have, like I said, they may have hours that they don't want that to occur.
So if that's an exit, so they could go out at 122nd, but what I'm looking at is if they go out that most eastern exit, they're going to be cutting across 3 lanes of highway, 2 lanes going east, and a left turn hand lane.
I presume that FDOT will look at it very thoroughly, and obviously you certainly have better ability to communicate to FDOT than we do, because they're going to listen to you as the city more than they're going to listen to us as a private property owner. But ultimately, what happens on 123rd, we're obligated. It's one of the conditions that whatever they say, we have to do.
That's obvious, but it's just really.
It's just, I would hesitate to say that we're going to do something whether they like it or not, is the best way I can put it. I just don't think that any of us want to tell FDOT, no, you can't do that,
Well,
if
it's not a
they
matter
have
of-
to make a decision.
It would be a voluntary thing on the part of the developer not to allow left turns out of that particular
At
exit.
any hour of the day?
I don't know what the hours are that would be.
I
It's
can't
never
s-
good. It's always backed up.
I-
Past the gas station, past there.
I've driven past there when it's not, but again, those are off hours. I understand the concern, and if they agree with you that it's going to be worse to allow that than better, then that's fine with us. But we just don't, like I said, we've agreed to be bound by them, and I hesitate to try to issue an ultimatum to the Florida Department of Transportation.
No, we're not issuing an ultimatum. I'm asking you to do that voluntarily.
If we say that we want to do that,
Mhm.
and they say that's a bad idea, we don't want you to do that,
I know you
it's
can't
still
do
a
it.
state
But if
road.
they don't care and and then that means you get to do it. What was Mr. O'Brien's recommendation on this and that particular entrance?
I believe his letter stated he was looking for signage. He had issued a letter to the department.
His letter's not part of
with
this package?
his concerns.
His letter's
I think
not part of
to
this
The city
package?
manager, actually, he
So,
had filed it.
Can I ask a question?
So it wasn't to
Miss-
the DRC, it was to the city.
Mr. Joe, so Mr. O'Brien's letter was a signage when returning.
Let us finish.
Huh?
Let her finish. Then
No,
that's
I'm,
part of her-
no, I mean,
That's part of
She's not
Carol's.
I don't
done
have
yet.
Mr. O'Brien's letter. I have Kittleson, and they really don't address that. I don't think they address it.
Are you done, Councilman?
Yeah,
Keith?
yeah.
No,
I
my
mean,
question-
I'm just not getting an answer, and I just feel there's a problem coming out of that parking.
Council, can I?
Yeah.
I think I think you got an answer from the developer, but if you
The answer is no, they're not going to restrict it, and they'll abide by FDOT. And if FDOT doesn't really care, then we have a problem that we can't control.
Well, if you look in the package, and I just pointed this out
The
to you.
Kittleson letter.
The Kittleson letter, which is the city's traffic, traffic engineer that did the analysis for this. And I know you guys keep referring to our transportation manager. The transportation manager, like other departments, participate in our internal DRC, but our official traffic engineer, Kittleson, is the one who does
The study.
the study and the final recommendation. In that letter, which is in the packet, they do discuss the fact that with respect to the analysis still needed for potential traffic signal, they will do the studies, and whatever comes out, they will go through the process of getting all the conditions met,
Got it.
warrants and all that stuff for
Yes.
signalization. That's in the
Yes.
letter.
For the
That's
record, yes.
officially in the letter.
But they're
Um,
talking about a signal, we're not,
No,
the spot I'm talking
Well-
about has nothing to do with the signal.
internally, since we keep referring to Mr. O'Brien, and I had a conversation with Mr. O'Brien, he looked at it. I think he and our public works director went out, and they had some concerns about traffic coming out. As you know right now, and you're right, you're not going to have a much crash analysis because there's nothing there now. And you're working in hypotheticals and you're running modeling. He had concerns and he expressed them about somewhere on this having right turn only, depending on what's going on the westbound side of 123rd. Again, all of those recommendations still have to go through FDOT.
Okay.
So, just for the record, so I get your point. You're asking for, you asked them for it. That's them. But our recommendation is that we follow through with the rest of the process. Recommended by our traffic engineer.
Well, then I'd like to direct staff to follow through with FDOT to make sure we don't have a problem with that one exit inside the retail place.
Absolutely.
And that's the
retail
one
project.
that's the one in the middle, or the one
It
on
looks like it's kind of on the west side. There is no egress, there
The
is
one-
no,
the one that directly
the one
exits
in
to
the middle.
123rd.
I think there's
Yeah,
only
it
one,
was the
and
one in
it's
the
on the
middle that
more
is
Right.
eastern
It's the one,
portion of
and that's the one in the
property.
middle.
Correct.
Yes.
It's just
Okay.
the one that's in the middle of the retail.
Yes, I
It
got
should be an exit only, and I think we should, staff should do our best to make sure that stays right only.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Nobody on the dais. Can we open public hearing on the item? Tab H.
Yes,
No,
then
it's a
in
resolution.
that
We don't need
case,
it.
Vice
It's not
Mayor,
an ordinance. It's not. Oh, okay.
Mr. Chair, in
Listen.
that case, if I could just present then, which will be very brief, I'd just like to ask our architect, Javier Font, to come up just for about 90 seconds worth. We don't want to keep anybody, but I do want you to hear briefly from the architect about the project he's done. As he's walking up, I just want to say, by the way, we're perfectly fine if that's what FDOT says. I work with FDOT, and they don't like it when you try to overrule them. So if that's what they want, we're fine with it.
Good evening, Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Council
Go,
President.
go ahead.
Javier Font, Behar Font and Partners, 4533 Ponce de Leon Boulevard, architects for the project. I'm sure
You
by
need to
now,
sign.
you guys know this project better than we do. So I'm not gonna bore you with the presentation. I will tell you that we have been working with your departments, and we have gone through the DRC process, and the project just keeps getting better every day. We are becoming more prouder of the project every day. We've done a great deal of advancement in the landscape design of the project. We've worked out some of the loading areas with your staff. We've talked about our green initiative and the green items that we are going to implement into the project. We also had your staff come up with a great idea for our Arts in Public Places process. So we're very happy as to where the project is going, and happy to answer any questions you may have. But like I said, I'm sure you guys are very familiar with the project and really don't need another presentation.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you, and now, and it's tab H.
Good evening, Kevin Burns, 2065 Alamanda Drive. It's great to see this development come. We need it. But when you discuss traffic over there, it's not a standalone project. You have a massive problem right now with traffic, and if we put as much effort on resolving the traffic that the Walgreens or that Arcade Shopping Plaza cause, while they're doing these FDOT studies, people leave Walgreens, they make a right turn, they go up 500 feet, and they make a U-turn in the middle of the LA Fitness, and hundreds of cars a day do it. Or they cut through the LA Fitness property, and they go down 18th Avenue. What should have been done at one time, we tried to get a right turn lane into the Walgreens property, but the owners at the time did not want to pay for that because the traffic backs up to the middle of Biscayne Boulevard. Also, there was a lane when you left Walgreens to accelerate to go east. They had enough room to have an acceleration lane to get going east. What you should do is, as a city, is work with FDOT very closely, since the developer is doing their spot, and the traffic study is going to dictate what gets done because they're the professionals. But the city should take a very strong position with FDOT that if you can't get a traffic light, that you could get a lighted U-turn. If you make a right turn, you can go in the center and you make a lighted U-turn. They're putting them all over the county, all over the state, and it solves a big problem. You got enough approach there, you got plenty of room, but it's a disaster right now without this development. And the development's gonna improve part of it, but if you don't address 123rd Street, the Arcade Shopping Plaza at the same time, and to make a comprehensive improvement, then you're going to continue to have the problems that the councilwoman was speaking about. Thank you.
Thank you.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I think the lighted U-turn is certainly an idea well worth studying and potentially implementing. Aside from the traffic concerns, I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention, if it hasn't already been brought to their attention, sort of the benefit of this project in terms of its site planning. The fact that after many, many years, we are now going to finish a segment, a vital segment that goes from Biscayne Boulevard all the way to the bridge to the east, to North Bay Shore Park. How nice it will be that people can then walk from Biscayne that entire stretch without having a giant gap. That if it's in the evening or during the day, they'll have places to stop, places to patronize. They'll have a safer feeling environment by continuing this stretch, particularly because it is mixed use. In respect to mixed use, I'd like to do a general pitch in support of this project and throughout our city. If we have this one with our retail and restaurants down below and living space above, wouldn't it be nice to have other projects nearby having the same characteristics? Somebody may be living above and down below may be a Mexican restaurant, but maybe the next project has some other type of restaurant, the Italian restaurant, this, that, whatever it is. You get enough mixed-use projects together, you're taking a lot of cars off the road. This project will contribute to that. Furthermore, I hope that by having this nice new structure, we will be able to have some people that will find their residences adequate for a live-work arrangement. Not doing high commercial activity with a lot of people coming in, but there are a lot of businesses that do not require, that individuals have, that do not require a lot of traffic, and therefore they can stay at home. They'll have a nice environment. They'll have their nice luxury amenities and features. They'll be able to go downstairs for their support things. They'll be able to go walk around the corner to the Walgreens and that entire mall.
Thank you very
I
much.
request support of this measure. Thank you.
Public hearing is now closed. Can I hear a motion? She would, did you, oh.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janine Swa. I am, like my co-founder said, from
Can
the
you
company
say-
Think
say that
Global.
your name and address, please?
My address is 201 4th Avenue South in St. Petersburg, Florida. I understand the unrest with both parties. However, I am hugely in favor of this. Walkability is huge. When you have walkability, for example, when I live in downtown St. Petersburg, I barely have to drive my car. I have my CVS. I have everything. Is everything okay?
Go ahead.
Oh, do I have to? Oh, sorry. Everything is within a walking meter, and it's just very convenient for me. But also, it provides a lot of tourism for the area, just because a lot of people spend their dollars there. So I know from both parties, as a very empathetic person, I know that it may be a little different to get some of that community redevelopment.
Can you talk on the mic, please?
Oh,
instead
excuse me,
of-
sorry. To get that, I just want to speak to the people. To get the
No,
community.
please, you're talking to
Oh,
us, not to the
I'm-
people.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
You talk
I'm
to
not ta-
us, not to the people.
Oh,
They're
address the
gonna
council.
listen
I
to you, yeah.
apologize. I apologize, guys. I understand that there may be some dichotomies in terms of who is getting served, but from somebody who hasn't driven their car in a month, and I live right downtown St. Petersburg, I see the value that this brings. And as companies such as mine, as Think Global, our goal is to connect local companies so that the community still gets represented among all of this development. And so I am hugely in favor for this because I just see that there's a lot of opportunity for this, especially in the opportunity zone. So to everybody and especially to the council, I say that I personally am in favor for this development project. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Marisol Medina.
Hello, everybody. Marisol Medina, 1270 Northeast 124th Street. I've been driving up and down Biscayne a lot lately going into downtown, and one of the pedestrian walkways that I saw was a really great idea where the pedestrian hits the button and that whole walkway lights up in order for the people to cross from this development over into the LA Fitness or wherever a little bit more safely, because you know not everybody's going to walk all the way down to Biscayne or all the way down to 18th in the middle of this huge development. They're going to cross that street right there, along with all those U-turns and the extra 300 plus cars that will be added to that area. So I wanted to keep that into mind. On this project and projects like this, we should maybe look into adding into our LDRs something to obligate them to put in a renewable. I know that this one's going to be LEED certified, but like in South Miami, they added the rule for them to have to put solar panels to put back into the grid. So things like that, I think, not only on this project, but all projects should be included. And I share the frustration with the traffic. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be very bad. So working very closely with whomever we need to, including FDOT and the collaboration of the group over here to make that happen is greatly in our favor, because no matter what they do, it's gonna be bad. But it's a good project. Take care.
Thank you. Public hearing is now closed. The dais, can I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve tab H. The motion was seconded by Councilman Dezume. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passed with a 4-0 vote.
We thank you very much. We thank you all and a good evening.
Thank you very much. And now, Citizen Forum. There's one. Where? It's not on the agenda.
I don't have it here.
Yeah, I don't have it on mine either.
Can we open Citizen Forum, please? Citizen Forum is open on the item, on the agenda. There's no other discussion on my agenda.
I have one with and one without, so.
Yeah. No,
It's on-
that's my
it's on-
discussion.
Yeah,
What discussion on what?
this is the Black History.
On what?
Black History Month. Go ahead, Jim.
Discussion.
You wanna, just 1 second. It won't take long.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Huh? We could do it now, after, or,
At
oh,
your
you know what, Jim,
report.
go ahead. Yes, I'll do it at my report. Is that
Yeah.
okay, Mr. Attorney? Okay, perfect, Jim, go ahead. Citizen Forum.
Jim Garrett, 11610 North Bayshore Drive, Unit 1A. On December 31st, 2018, I was house sitting up in Lighthouse Point. I was driving down, my car broke down in Pompano. And then I got fixed after.
No, it's not Pompano, it's Lighthouse Point.
No,
If you say
Pompano.
Pompano to someone
let
living
me
in
go. Hold
Lighthouse
it,
Point, they're
please,
gonna...
please,
Okay.
please. I don't interrupt you when you're speaking. And then I go to Pompano Beach. Then I got my car at 6 and I got back on the highway and it broke down near Fort Lauderdale train station. Thank God Tri-Rail was running. I took Tri-Rail down. I got down into North Miami. I got at Golden Glades at 9:05. However, my cell phone was dead. They don't have ATMs. I had no money. I usually don't carry no money because of public safety. And there was no taxis. I couldn't call a taxi. And the buses wouldn't take a debit card. So there's no connectivity between Golden Glades and we're here in North Miami. I walked. I did the Bataan Death March down 7th Avenue all the way to 125th Street. I stopped at my mom, see if she had anything. And her cell phone was working. She didn't have an Uber. And then I went down all the way to 125th. I got home at 11:45 at night. The city's, I'm just saying, I'm not looking for you to run a shuttle on New Year's Eve. What I'm saying is, I'm thinking ahead. We don't have no connectivity to Tri-Rail with Golden Glades. And we have 4 shuttle routes. If we want to get people to jobs and opportunities throughout the Gold Coast, we need that connectivity. That connection up to that station at Golden Glades. That's why I'm asking. I want this city, its administration, and the council to look at that. until we get Tri-Rail over here. And then one day we'll have two Tri-Rail stations that we can get to. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Laura Hill, 13075 Griffin Boulevard. This is kind of an easy one. I was out fishing at the fishing pier in North Miami. It's one of my favorite aspects of living here. I love the fishing pier. And I was talking to some of the other guys out there, and I told them I would come and advocate for some bathrooms. If you're fishing out there, there's nowhere to use the restroom. And it's really hard to pack up all your fishing stuff and go to Walgreens or whatever up the street. So I know it's not budget season yet, but when it is, I'm going to advocate very heavily that if we do have any money available, that we build some bathrooms out there at the fishing pier. Thank you very much.
Even portable.
Yeah, the residents will eat, they'll plug their towels.
Hi there.
Yes.
Is it working? Sarah McDevitt, 14490 Northeast 10th Avenue. I'm here this evening just to talk a little bit about Pioneer Boulevard, 136th Street. It's
137.
Or sorry,
37.
137th, yeah. It's looking a little shabby. There's multiple dead trees along the boulevard that have been an issue for a long time. The wall at 6th Avenue was crumbling before, but now has a huge chunk that slid off the side and just looks really bad. And then the fountain, and I know everybody knows that that entry fountain hasn't worked for a real long time, but it just, the whole thing compounds to just look really bad. And I hope that we prioritize making that a nice space again. Thank you.
City's being flagged on. William Prevotel, 11950 North Bayshore Drive. I'd like to congratulate the city on a happy belated Martin Luther King birthday or Martin Luther King Day. I'd like to congratulate the city on a job well done on the event the other evening out at Mocha Plaza. Had a very nice turnout, had extraordinary talent up there of particularly the children and local students singing, dancing, playing instruments, really quite marvelous. In remembering, I was around at the time when Martin Luther King was shot and the years before his activities. And it saddens me how these last 2 years could do such destruction in such a short period of time. And I hope that all of us will be able to put the current environment behind us as soon as possible, regroup, and come out even stronger so that there's never a need for such concerns to be debated. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Marcel Rizzo, 535 Northeast 139th Street. I'm a new resident. I'm very fond of this city. I'm excited to be living here. This is my second meeting. I'm excited about all of this. But me and my wife have something that we got to bring up. The trash. There's litter all over this city. I drive down 139th Street and we have two beautiful facilities, these two immaculate schools. And we literally call it the ring of trash. Around the entire fenced in area, nothing but trash. It's something that I would like to know if there's some way we can get like a public service announcement message to the whole community, like take care of us.
Every few weeks I have to call you. It's Pioneer. The fence on 9 Avenue, 9137, the school by that MC.
Yeah, that's basically our concern. I mean, this city has tremendous potential with the old growth and everything. That's why we all live here. But yeah, the trash is bringing us down. I sell impact windows, so I'm in every neighborhood all over South Florida, and you know, we can definitely like bring up our game in this level. Thank you.
We're gonna look to it. Your house is beautiful.
Thank you.
Huh?
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125 Street.
It's 139. It's 137 and 9. You know the fence, the metal fence. You know all those, and on it. Every 2 weeks I call it. Yes, ma'am.
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125 Street. This is an attempt to correct an oversight. This letter was dated 11/16/18. Dear Officer Kevin Crespo, in this season of Thanksgiving, we, the Sunkist Grove Neighborhood Association, want you to know how much we appreciate you serving us as our community resource officer. You faithfully attended our monthly meetings and masterfully updated us on the crime trends, if any, in our community, our city, our county. You have given us great tips to help us avoid problematic situations. You have helped us attain peace with our neighbors and advocated for our overall well-being. You envisioned a successful Croissant with a Cop event at Burger King and now working diligently on the Ring Camera crime prevention campaign. We wanted you to know that you are greatly appreciated and that we pray for you and yours, and we pray for as we pray for our own families. Thank you for your service. Have an awesomely blessed holiday season. Sunkist Grove Neighborhood Association. Correction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is the officer here tonight? No? Okay.
Good afternoon. Judy Brown, Northwest, 1100 Northwest 128 Terrace, North Miami. I am just so thankful. I was sitting next to the gentleman just moved in the neighborhood that he brought up the trash, because I've been singing trash for almost 40 years. What happened to the team that was supposed to be put together after the hurricane? Remember we had like, right. So they started on Monday. That was very, very effective when it was in place, because it is trash everywhere. Everywhere is trash, and it's been trash. We need to do better as a city. We could put up little billboards, don't litter, educate people. We're just not doing enough for our city. It is everywhere. And it looks bad. I pick up trash all the time. My neighbors pick up trash. We as a city really need to take pride in our city. And the trash thing, we could do better with this, people. Thank you.
As far as trash, I don't know where people are talking about. I don't see trash everywhere in my district. I don't see it. When you say everywhere, the school, yeah, there I understand. Every week I have to call this guy for that.
Don't argue. It's just, you're not gonna win.
I don't see trash everywhere. When people say trash everywhere, nah, I don't see it. Yes, exactly. I just moved. I don't see trash everywhere. Okay.
Okay, Claudia Pasmino, 13504
Don't see
North,
trash
Northeast
everywhere in
23rd Place. Speaking of having pride for our city, we should have pride for our library. We only have one, and it was one of the 5 selected in the United States to have a visit from the president of the American Library Association. I came here a few months ago talking about the sign for the library. It still hasn't gotten changed, and I feel bad going to the reception and having people come to look at our library, and we still have this old, dirty sign. We have a sign that says North Miami, I think, what is it, Culture or Art District,
Yeah.
that it's all dirty, faded. There's another sign on the opposite side. It said something about buffer zone before, with the school. And I'm like, I was there last Saturday. We had a meeting, the Friends of the Library, and I'm like, the sign's still there, and the city knows we're gonna get a visit from this big, thing. We're getting recognized. It's only 5 libraries, that got chosen. And I'm like, come on. So let's have pride. Come on. I'm willing to go one day and help clean up or change the sign, whatever. Let me know and I'll do it. Because again, I do have pride, especially in the library. It's the future. When people move into a residence, they look at the schools. The second thing they're going to look at is the library. And our libraries across the school. So we got to
Thank
make
you
sure it
very
looks
much.
good.
It's not only that sign. I think we need to revisit those signs, and a lot of them need repair. Yes.
This is the last time I'm going to be speaking, I promise. I just wanted to share with the public
Name- can
and
you say your
with
name
the
and address
council
every time?
women, with the councilwoman
name and address for the rec. Name and address.
Janine Swa, 4th Avenue South in St. Petersburg, Florida. I just wanted to share again, your city is so passionate, and I'm very moved by this because you have a lot of people who are very passionate about the progressiveness of the city. And so the fact that you have your citizens willing to help to beautify this city is very moving, because where I'm from, everybody works together. And so I just wanted to just reiterate the sentiments of both the councilmen and women and the city, that everybody should work together, but more so that there needs to be just communication, because I feel like there's a lot of disconnect between the agenda, because I know that the councilmen and women are working very hard, but at the same time, I know that the citizens are very frustrated. So if there can just be some type of liaison to communicate all of these frustrations, to address this, I don't know who is responsible for this particularly, because I am very new to this area, but it just seems that there's a lot of disconnect. So again, I am Janine. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida. However, I feel that there has just been a lot of frustrations from everybody. So if there can be some type of effective way to communicate that, it would be great, because everybody pretty much has the same agenda from what I've seen. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Citizen Forum.
Hi, Marisol Medina, 1270 Northeast 124th Street. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm glad that the library was mentioned. So I'm starting school again, and I didn't want to drive all the way to FIU, which 24-hour library and peaceful. And so I went to our library thinking, like, this is great atmosphere. It's going to be fantastic. Those poor librarians. There's no way that they can handle the volume of people that are in that library. Kids playing games. It's loud. There's only one quiet room. So I don't know. They're a beautiful library, and they've got great staff. I mean, they really care. You go in and you ask them a question, if they got them, they'll go and help you find it all the way in the back of the library, or the resources that you need. People come in there as if they've never used a computer, and they're guided, and it's great. But maybe more employees at the library would be great. Also, the bus system. I thought, we are a city on the ocean. We're right there on the cusp, and we don't have any buses that go towards the ocean. It's about a 30-minute bicycle ride, or, a little hop, skip, 10 minutes in a bus. Wouldn't it be cool to join our community with that of the beach, Surfside, Bal Harbor shops? I mean, people come here and they stay in the hotel right there off of Biscayne, or any of the hotels that are in that area. And they have to rent cars, and they have to do all of these things. But imagine a train and a bus system that goes and connects us to the ocean. Great idea. We should start working on it, yeah? Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Citizen Forum. Still open. Citizen Forum is now closed. Council reports.
Madam, please.
No.
I have one particular report. I don't know how the agenda I have, Mr. Manager's not on there, but it's in regards to Black History Month. As you all know, for the past 4 years. 4 years. Well, this is the 4th annual. So for the past 4 years, we've been putting together a phenomenal Black History Month event. And last year, we had a record number of over 6,000 people. So this year, we wanted the water fund, as we started, I think last year, we established the utility fund to help our residents out. We wanted to charge a surcharge of $10 to the event. So we wanted to ask if we could use that donation, that funds for the water funds of our residents, because we have folks calling. There's a waiting list of folks who would like to help, and I think we had $5,000, Mr. Manager, that's in that fund. So I think the attorney that would be the proper approach, to just mention it to the council and bring in, if we could just do that, to vote to, is it a motion so that whatever that we collect, or whatever donation that we collect, or whatever that the fee that they pay, it goes towards the water bill, the utility bill program that we have, which is scheduled to open when, Mr. Manager? Soon. soon. We don't have money in there, but we raising money the best way that we can to help out.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
I have a motion made by Councilman DeZume as stated on the record. It's going to be verbatim. Do you want to make your motion clear,
Sure,
Councilman DeZume?
absolutely, Mr. Clerk. My motion is to collect funds to charge for $10 for the music Nomi Fest, and then we'll solicit whoever wants to donate, and that proceed, whatever that we collect, we'll use for the emergency utility program, the North Miami Utility Program, to help the residents with their water bill.
That motion is made. It's going to be written on the minutes verbatim as Councilman DeZume have stated it. That motion was then seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Do we get a discussion on this item?
Sure.
I mean, this isn't,
Yes.
it's not advertised or anything, and there's no discussion, and
I just need to make one clarification. I don't know what got printed out. This item is
It's
on the
advertised.
posted agenda. It is
Yes, I
advertised.
did
it
see
is
it. That's what I
online,
don't see it.
correct. Okay, so my question is, we have an event that is normally free to the public. So what, it's not, since it's free, now you're looking at the logistics of collecting money. So now you have to wall off the entire plaza so people can only enter into one, or maybe one area.
Yes, similar to Brewfest.
Okay, so do we want a Brewfest where you can only get in on one side and people just can't come and go, and now you need staff to collect money?
It wouldn't be staffed logistically the way it was presented, and there'll be expert that's working on it. It would be similar to Brewfest, and I think they looking at perhaps changing the location because
That's an Evite event, so now you have to
Yeah.
turn this into Evite.
well, there will be have to
So
purchase
you're
their.
changing the whole nature, you're making this an Evite event, and then when people
What's the
show up.
Evite? When you said an Evite?
Evite on
Oh,
Brewfest.
Eventbrite. Yes, yes, yes.
On Brewfest, it's Evite, and everything.
Yes.
Most of the people have registered in advance online, and they've got their tickets.
That's what we're doing.
Okay, so now you're talking about making our event an Evite event. So then people who come, I don't know if they're still gonna, some will still have to pay at the door. So
Yes.
you're changing the whole, I'd like more information on the logistics and how we're gonna do that. And are we charging,
Here's the problem. We have less than a month. We trying to see what we can in order for us to move forward. So either we come up with a decision now, or we could wait next year. And if you wanted a more explanation, because I don't know how clear it can be, we trying to raise money to help the residents. That's what this is about.
so what if
So-
we had donations, if people came and asked them for donations? But, I don't know, I think this is a big event, it's open to
It's
the
big.
public, it's free, people are coming and going, they're able to walk back and forth to the businesses,
Yes.
to the different stores. Now, they're going through one little corner, maybe over at Mocha, and you're closing everybody in. And you got this big festival, and you got to close in with one gate.
So
it's the same as
the
my-
issue that you are having, is it the closing
It's the
at the
logistics of
gate or the
collecting
logistics? Okay, no, well, there's two issues, because you saying you are right with the collecting money, or it's the logistic. The logistic is similar to Brewfest, and I believe
Brewfest is a smaller event. Brewfest
is it? How
we
many
ha-
people attended? I wasn't.
we have
I haven't been
Brewfest.
attending.
We have Brewfest, and we have a certain amount of tickets. FIU works with us. We have the people. It's closed. When it's sold out, that's it. This,
Well-
I have La Grande Fiesta, and we have a big street party, and people are coming and going, and it's a big party.
We understand that. We understand it's a big
If
party.
you want to make this a closed event, and people can't come and go, and they have to go out the back door or the front door, in and out, you're changing the nature. But I'd like to know more logistics
Logistics on
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 closing
specific-
closing in the plaza.
We are
and have-
looking, not necessarily the plaza. I think the committee is perhaps looking at the location.
Where's the
Changing
location?
the location, moving it perhaps towards the Mr. Kocher, perhaps the street, or we were thinking about
You're
the
gonna close
park.
off the street, and there's
That
gonna
was
be
part of-
one entrance on the street just to get in.
Yeah,